Evacuations already underway?
That's correct. Evacuations underway mostly in Sumy, east of the country. So people have started leaving the town in private cars heading south to Poltava. A humanitarian corridor established there for a second day to allow civilians to flee. We know, Annette, that on Monday night, the city came under heavy shelling. 22 people died on Monday night. And so we expect more people to flee the city today. According to the latest figures, 7,000 people were evacuated out of Sumy yesterday. More could follow now as that corridor remains open. And evacuations are also underway out of Ener Odar, a town near the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. The mayor there confirming that buses had left the city with women, children, and the elderly as well. As you said, Annette, 6 corridors in total have been opened, including from Mariupol to Zaporizhia, and also from several towns around Kyiv. So Bucha, Irpin, and Ostomel. Those are it's a cluster of cities around Kyiv that have come under heavy bombardment over the last few days, and they will be heading towards the capital. It is important to note that all of these corridors are internal corridors, departing from towns near the border with Russia and heading towards the center of the country. As we know that Ukraine had previously rejected Russian proposals, as people would have had to flee either to Russia or its ally Belarus. The truce, however, this temporary ceasefire remains fragile. We've heard reports that the evacuation from the city of Izum, that's east of the country, has been is not immediately possible, as there seems to be Russian shelling going on around the evacuation route. So it remains to be seen if the temporary ceasefire will hold and if people will be able to evacuate through those 6 humanitarian corridors.
Valerie, give us a sense of the Russian advancement on the ground.
Right, so Russia has not made any substantial gains over the last 24 hours. Ukrainian forces have managed to repel several Russian attacks. According to the Ukrainian army, Russia's advance has been slowed. So you see on that map there the red representing areas under Russian control. We know, and I mean, according to military analysts, the fact that they have not been able to move forward as quickly as they had hoped, that has led to a lot of frustration among Russian ranks. And as a result, Russia is increasingly resorting to bombing and shelling residential areas. And so what we've heard is that overnight, 10 people were killed in an airstrike in Sverdlovsk overnight. So that's east of the country. And there are reports as well of air raid sirens going off overnight in several cities across the country, and early in the morning in Kyiv, Vinnytsia, Kharkiv, and other cities around the country. We have this map here of Kyiv and its surroundings. So the battle for Kyiv continues. No major breakthroughs in this area either. Russian forces are regrouping around the capital in Buda, Irpin, and Ostomel, preparing potentially for an assault in the next 2 to 4 days, according to military sources. So really the objective now being to encircle Kyiv in preparation for an assault. Some things have changed, though, around Kyiv. The city of Brovary that you see there in that circle, black and white circle, that is now a disputed city as Russian forces continue to move towards the capital, Kyiv. I do have some latest developments that I want to mention now when it comes to Chernobyl. That's north of Kyiv. We have heard, there are reports now that Russian forces have disconnected the nuclear power plant of Chernobyl from the grid, according to Ukraine's state operators. And so there are fears that radioactive substances could leak out of the plant, and that is because since the plant has been disconnected, workers cannot cool down the reactors there. So that's what's happening. Again, it's a developing story what's happening in Chernobyl. So we'll bring you the latest as soon as we can. Last but not least, Annette, before I go, I do want to talk about the southern front of Ukraine. So again, the situation there remains largely unchanged. Russians have made only limited gains, and that's what you see there in the red circle, a slight expansion from Crimea towards Mykolaiv as Russian forces try to bypass the city of Mykolaiv, the objective being to cross the Bach River that goes into the Black Sea and to reach Odessa. We also know that Russian forces are heading north, driving to Zaporizhia. Zaporizhia still under Ukrainian control. It's only the nuclear power plant that's under Russian control. And so we hear that they're heading in that direction as well.
Valerie Dekimpe, thank you so much.